Hello and welcome to another video from Education Excel Solutions, where today we're going to be focusing on departmental data tracking and looking at how we can overcome some of the traditional problems associated with storing and analysing data in shared spreadsheets. One of the most common complaints from teachers or heads of departments is that they store data and other members of staff go in and accidentally overwrite data or potentially delete data that can be very difficult to restore. So for example, here we've got our front page of student data and I'm going to delete a couple of sections of data here. Other problems that teachers find that they have is when students change class. So for example, if we look at this student here, they're currently in 9x1, however, there might have been a set change where somebody would have to go in and change that to their new class. This spreadsheet overcomes both of these problems. If we look to see where the data is stored, all the information on this page comes from two different places. If we go to the front sheet here, we can see that we've got the button that allows us to tidy up this spreadsheet. Currently, there are only 3 sheets visible. However, there are a number of hidden sheets in the background where the data is stored. In addition, you've got lookup tables if potentially you need to look up grades from raw scores. I'm going to show test 1 and I'm going to show auto pupil data. Auto pupil data is data that comes from a SIMS generated report, and the benefit of this is that this data will always reflect the data in SIMS. So that means no longer do we have to go in and change class data when a student has moved classes, because that will have changed on SIMS and our spreadsheet will automatically read in this information. The second type of data is that type of ongoing data throughout the year where you've done a class or a teacher assessment and you collect all the results from the department and it's stored in your spreadsheet. Here it's stored in this tab that once it's all collected, we can hide those tabs again to help prevent accidental data deletion. If we go back to our student data, we can see we've still got our missing data sections here. However, these are all formulae, and if we pull them down, we can see this data is automatically repopulated. In fact, we can go as far as deleting huge sections of our data, saving the file, and if we close it down and reopen that file, we can see that that data has been restored. It's a very safe and secure method of storing your data to help prevent accidental loss. In addition to storing your data, it can also be used to analyze your data. Firstly, by looking at a particular row. So rather than looking at a student and having to look across a whole row of data and expand all these hidden columns, what we can do is go to the pupil summary sheet, where we can see at the moment this is still in the design stage, whereas each school can choose fields that are relevant to them. However, we can see the process behind it. We can choose any row from our previous sheet, click on a student, and we can see that that is updated. As this runs from SIMS as well, every time a new student joins the school, the spreadsheet will automatically update to reflect the list of students that is currently on roll in SIMS. In addition to analysing a row of data, so looking at an individual student, sometimes we might wish to analyse a column of data. For example, in this school we have recently looked at we've had an end of year test with year 9, and we want to have a quick summary without having to do many formula, pivot tables, and lots of extra work for the user to see a summary of this data. If we click here, we can see that it reflects every single column from our spreadsheet. So from the very first ones through to the last ones. If I click on the maths class, for example, that's a very quick summary. I can now straight away see how many students are in each class. However, we were looking at the end of year results. So grade end of year 9, and automatically the data pulls in from the previous tab. We are currently looking at grades here because this is for maths and we're on the new GCSE system. In addition to just summarising this data, we can also start narrowing down into different classes and into different groups of pupils. So most schools will need to look at how their pupil premium students perform to non-pupil premium students. So we can see with a simple click of the filter here, In this graph here, we're looking at pupil premium students, whereas this one here is non-pupil premium. In the same way, we can also separate by class. I might want to look at two similar classes, so I've got my 9x1 compared to my 9y1, and very quickly and straightforwardly, I can see that my 9y1 is slightly outperforming my 9x1. This all runs automatically. It's very quick, it's very easy, and requires very little work from the user. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it gives you some ideas on how Education Excel solutions can be of use to your school and your department.